Good evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultan of Oman television. First, the headlines. The Shura Council approves public debt, advocacy and legal consultation draft laws, a suggested draft law of sports, cultural and youth sports fund. Nama Group manages to successfully merge and restructure 4 distribution and supply companies into 2 companies. The workshop, high-level dialogue between the Sultan of Oman and WIPO, is concluded. And Oman engineers succeed in designing advanced electronic chips and sending them to the global farm for testing and verification readiness. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. The Shura Council approved in this regular session the draft law of public debt and forwarded it to the State Council. Their Excellencies, members of the Shura Council, were briefed on the draft law of the protection of bank deposits forwarded by the Council of Ministers. The Council also approved the draft law of advocacy and legal consultations and approved to forward it to the State Council. The Council also approved in its session the proposal of the draft law of fund to support the sports, cultural and youth activities. Also, they discussed the reports of the permanent committees of the Council as well as the reports of Food and Water Security Committee on the reality of planting wheat in the Sultan of Oman. The session was headed by His Excellency Khalid bin Al Maali, Chairman of the Shura Council. To enhance the efficiency of electricity supply and distribution within the Sultan of Oman, Nama Group held a media press conference today to reveal the changes within its hierarchy due to the recent merge. More details in the following report.
In response to the government directives to restructure the electricity sector and in line with the group initiatives to enhance efficiency, Nama Holding announced the commencement of operations of the electricity distribution and supply companies. The media conference held today came to share details on those recent changes.
By this merge, we are expecting to have more efficiency gains, especially when we use the different type of resources available on the companies, on the sector, to achieve different type of goals and focus areas. One of them is using the best experience available in different companies, and we can build on that different experiences on Nama electricity distribution and also in the best practices available across Oman.
This merge gathered all supply and distribution companies into 2 main bodies, Nama Electricity Distribution and Nama Supply. This step comes in a bid to manage the provision of electricity services to all governorates of the Sultanate of Oman, except for the Dhofar Governorate, which is operated by Nama Dhofar Services that provides electricity, water and wastewater services in the southern parts of Oman.
We have completed the merging project and we have launched also Nama Service portal, and through this portal the customers and all the people in the country, they can approach us even from outside the country, and they can apply for any service or follow up their application or the service through Nama Service portal, and we will use the same contact center number, which is 1011, and all customers can approach the supply or the distribution through one window. And we are available 24 hours to provide our best service level.
Nama Electricity Distribution will be responsible for providing services related to meter reading and low voltage networks. The company's mandates also include constructing lines and transformers to ensure reliable services to customers, while Nama Supply will be responsible for billing and collection operations. It's noteworthy of mention that this merge within Nama only comes as a continuous commitment by the group to contribute to Oman's Vision 2040. The recent merge within the electricity sector between supply and distribution companies only comes to set a clear path forward. This media conference came and shared the most prominent discussions and ideas on that. For Oman TV, Ahmed bin Hilal al-Busaidi, Muscat.
The Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, in cooperation with the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, and Oman Association for Intellectual Property, concluded the workshop high-level dialogue between the Sultanate of Oman and WIPO. The workshop recommended a number of recommendations, the most important of which is linking higher education institutions in the Sultanate of Oman to benefit from WIPO's programs and projects in the field of training and capacity building. In the field of intellectual property, follow up on the project of the Omani vision or version of the general codes in intellectual property, allocating a working group concerned with working on the projects, in addition to establishing a national center for training in the field of intellectual property in cooperation with the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and Investment Promotion, and the Ministry of Labour, and appointing a point of contact with WIPO to start work on the project. The program aims to strengthen the intellectual property system in the Sultanate of Oman and the ongoing cooperation projects between the Sultanate of Oman and the organization. The ceremony was held under the auspices of His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion. The Ministry of Economy hosted the 8th meeting of the committees of senior officials in the GCC Economic and Development Affairs Authority. The meeting discussed a number of issues related to the stages of economic integration in the GCC states and reviewed the proposal of the General Secretariat regarding the governance of joint Gulf economic and development work, in addition to the latest developments in the action plan for building the Gulf economic model and its mechanism and the proposed timetable for it. The meeting was chaired by His Excellency Dr. Nasser bin Rashid Al-Maali, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Economy. The Ministry of Housing and Urban Planning held a workshop in the Wilaya of Salalah in the Governorate of Dhofar to put up the initial perceptions of the future smart city in Salalah. The workshop was attended by a number of bodies concerned from public and private sectors as well as members of the community. The area of the city will be more than 6 million square meters and it will accommodate more than 40,000 people. It will include model neighborhoods in addition to a modern transportation network, as well as focusing on investment opportunities. This comes within the plans of the Sultanate of Oman to establish sustainable and smart cities. The global semiconductor or microelectronic company GSME Oman today celebrated the dispatch of the first advanced electronic chips design, Oman 1, Oman 2, to the laboratories of the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. The chips were made by Omani designers and they were sent over to the global firm for testing and verification of readiness to start the streamlined production and manufacturing. The move constitutes part of the national program for digital economy and it was undertaken with the support of the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology and the Ministry of Labour. It is a step forward towards the implementation of an agreement concluded in June 2022 by the Ministry of Transport, Communications and Information Technology and the Ministry of Labour on one side and Global Semiconductor Microelectronics Company on the other side. The agreement was aimed at establishing the first investment project in the Sultanate of Oman to design and manufacture semiconductors and advanced electronic chips, besides training Omani cadres in this field. The Office of the Governor of Musandam organized a workshop entitled Knowledge Transfer for Oman Vision 2040 for the Excellencies, the Walis of Musandam Governorate and the Directors General of all government units in the Governorate. The three-day workshop reviewed the priority of governorate development, mechanisms for developing programs and initiatives, and investment methodologies in Musandam Governorate. Still to come, a news bulletin. Scientists generally agree that mass-scale reforestation could help slow global warming by trapping carbon dioxide in living trees. Welcome back to the news from the Sultan of Oman Television. The State Audit Institution organized an awareness meeting at the Ministry of Education to shed light on the role of the audit institution in preserving public funds and applying audit procedures. The State Audit Institution, through such meetings and programs, aims to reach a real partnership in cooperation with the state and community institutions in order to protect public funds. A presentation during the meeting focused on the state audit institution's roles, goals and specialization, as well as the monitoring standards, in addition to the mechanisms followed by the institution to deal with the companies. The latest analysis of National Multi-Hazards Early Warning Center shows that the tropical depression over the Arabian Sea has intensified into deep tropical depression in south center of the Arabian Sea and is around 1,160 kilometers away from the Sultan of Oman's coasts. It is expected to move north towards the center of the Arabian Sea, with chances to develop later into tropical cyclone category 1 with cloud accumulation over the Sultan of Oman in the next 5 days. The Civil Aviation Authority calls on everyone to follow up with bulletins and reports issued by it. A seminar on illegal fishing and fishing licenses discussed the importance of organizing the fisheries sector to ensure its sustainability. The seminar, which was organized by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources, touched on the importance of obtaining the fishing licenses and following the instructions of the fishing timings. The seminar presented a number of papers focused on rules and regulations relating to fishermen's wealth or fisheries wealth, to convert expatriate workers and limiting the spread of illegal expatriates which affect fisheries wealth by using illegal fishing techniques. The seminar also addressed the economic impact of expatriates and challenges facing monitoring systems, particularly in coastline areas. His Excellency Dr. Tobias Linde, Minister of State at the Federal Foreign Office of Germany, and his accompanying delegation today visited the Maritime Security Center, MSCI. The members of the visiting delegation toured the center's facilities and viewed its latest equipment and technologies used in carrying out its national duties. They were also briefed on the tactical roles and tasks carried out by the center in the safety of the maritime environment. In affirmation to the importance of social responsibility, the Directorate General of Public Health Services in the government of North Sharqiya signed an agreement with Mitsui E&P Middle East to supply medical equipment worth over 56,000 Omani Riyals. The new supplies will help improve the quality of health services in Ibra Hospital to all segments of the society and to enhance the health welfare of patients and health workers. The Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation held a ceremony to mark the graduation of a new batch of students from the vocational colleges. The event was presided over by His Excellency Dr. Saif bin Abdullah Al-Haddabi, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation for Research and Innovations. More details in the following reports.
Upon successfully completing the requirements of vocational diploma in various engineering, marine sciences and business studies, the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Innovation celebrated the graduation of the sixth batch of graduates from the vocational colleges.
I am happy today for get excellent in my graduation. Thank you for my family, my friend, and all my teachers to support me. I wish success for all of them.
I'm very happy and proud that I am being in this graduation and living this moment with my friends. See, Vocational College has improved my practical skills that I am looking up to increase this to achieve more and more in future.
The graduates went through rigorous training programs in vocational fields, thus becoming competent to contribute to building Oman's renewed renaissance in different development sectors.
The major of sales and marketing was my choice to be my career, because it's I like meet new people in my life, and also I give the thanks to our team of teachers in the college. They were so supportive and so helpful with us.
I'm very proud and excited and even happy that I'm graduating today. We've waiting too long for this moment, and I think my major as electronics engineering, we can add a touch on our society, we can increase the knowledge, and we can benefit other companies and even industries and more.
I'm very happy and proud of myself to graduate from a very vocational college, and I look forward to support my country in everything. I want to thank my family to support me.
767 graduates obtained vocational diploma certificates from the vocational colleges in Asib, Al-Khabura, Saham, Shinas, Sur, Ibri, and Al-Buraimi. Excited by this glamorous accomplishment, the graduates move forward in pursuit of new success stories. For the Sultanate of Oman Television, Salih Bakhalfan Al-Rahbi, Muscat.
And finally, scientists generally agree that mass-scale reforestation could help slow global warming by trapping carbon dioxide in living trees. In Brazil, replanting efforts are modest operations so far. Here's a report.
There's a seemingly simple fix that could help solve the climate crisis. Replanting trees in what were forests, now stripped barren. But here in Brazil's Amazon rainforest, the task is proving to be more difficult than it sounds. Reuters got an inside look into two of the largest reforestation initiatives in the country, which are operated by the nonprofits Rio Terra and the Black Jaguar Foundation. And we found environmental groups facing a range of challenges, from lack of funding and extreme weather to violence and threats from hostile land grabbers and farmers. Scientists generally agree that mass-scale reforestation could help slow global warming by trapping carbon dioxide into living trees. Such efforts could also restore wildlife habitats and help protect threatened species. In Brazil, replanting efforts are modest operations so far. Over the past decade, nonprofit Rio Terra has planted some 7 million trees in the Amazon, covering an area almost the size of Manhattan. Alexis Bastos is one of the group's founders. Despite growing more trees than almost any group working in the Amazon, Bastos says it falls well short of what's needed.
For the Amazon as a whole, it is insignificant, but yes, we have already restored almost 6,000 hectares in the past 10 years.
Black Jaguar is even more ambitious. It's a Brazilian and European nonprofit and hopes to spend at least $3.7 billion in the next 20 years restoring a forest area the size of Lebanon. Here's the group's founder, Ben Valks.
Our foundation has only one clear goal, is to help realize the Araguaia Biodiversity Corridor. It's a massive project of restoration. The corridor itself is 2,600 kilometers long and up to 40 kilometers wide. for you, maybe in the US, to have an idea of the length, is similar to the distance from Boston to Miami.
But replanting the Amazon isn't cheap. Bastos says Rio Terra spends more than $2 million annually on reforestation. Meanwhile, through corporate and private donors, Black Jaguar has so far managed to raise just a tiny fraction, 0.2% of its goal, that $3.7 billion. Shoestring budgets are just one of the challenges facing environmental groups. Meanwhile, Amazon destruction continues at a furious pace. Government data showed that about 3 soccer fields worth of virgin forest were cleared every minute in 2022. Violence and threats against environmentalists are also commonplace. Over 200 are killed annually, according to the watchdog group Global Witness.
This is the Sultan of Oman television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Shura Council approves public debt advocacy and legal consultation draft laws and suggested draft law of Sport, Cultural and Youth Support Fund. Number Group manages to successfully merge and restructure 4 distribution and supply companies into 2 companies. The workshop, high-level dialogue between the Sultan of Oman and WIPO, is concluded. And Oman engineers succeed in designing advanced electronic chips and sending them to the global firm for testing and verification of readiness. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from my colleagues and myself, Suhail Al-Kindi. Thanks for watching. Good night.